Is my mic okay? Mikey, check, check. Cool.
What camera is he starting on?
Free food in a petting zoo at the PETA Plaza yesterday. More details on that later. And also, it's Autism Awareness Month. We shed light on what the city of Las Vegas did to the Las Vegas sign. And a new wave of firefighters are graduating. These stories and more coming up on Studio G.
Live. You're watching Studio G.
Good afternoon and happy Thursday, just about at high noon here. Welcome back to Studio G. My name is Dominic Lavoie. Let's get right into our show. Our top story today shows live footage from the Louisville shooting that happened early Monday morning. Here's that footage.
911, Operator Frost, where's your emergency?
The 911 calls came in one after another.
911.
Panicked callers
Get here now. We need somebody
Okay, what color?
now.
Okay.
saying they'd witnessed a mass shooting at Old National Bank. One caller watched it unfold on a video call. Another called hiding in a closet.
Has anybody been shot? Yes.
Louisville police say within 3 minutes of the first calls, officers arrived. About the time they did, gunman Connor Sturgeon's mother called 911.
I don't know what to do. I need your help. I think he's never hurt anyone. He's a really good kid. Please don't come up to him.
You don't believe he owns guns?
I know he doesn't own any guns.
Police say Sturgeon had legally purchased a gun days earlier. His family says in a statement he had mental health challenges they were actively addressing, and there were never warning signs. One of the 5 victims killed in the shooting was a friend of Kentucky's governor.
This person murdered my friend. But still, I can't imagine how his parents must be feeling right now.
Roughly 9 minutes passed from the first shots fired to police confirming the gunman was down. Police have released 12 calls from that time.
We see a cop down.
Eyewitnesses trying to find the words for what they had just seen. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
Very disturbing images coming out of Louisville this week. We'll bring you more updates as we get them next week. But moving back to campus, yesterday the Rebel Events Boards and CSUN hosted a party at the PETA Plaza to celebrate Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Patrina Allen has more with that story.
Hey, this is Patrina Allen with Studio G, and I'm here at the PETA Plaza for the Pacific Islander Foodie Fest.
On Wednesday, April 12th at 11 a.m. in the PETA Plaza, CSUN and Rebel Event Boards got together to host their Foodie Fest to celebrate Pacific Islander heritage with free food, shaved ice, a petting zoo that included a camel, airbrush tattoos that looked like the real thing that many people lined up for the temporary tattoos, which they loved. We spoke with the host about the event.
And I'm the organizer. Today we're at Foodie Fest, and in doing so, we invited a lot of our on-campus community to come out and join us and indulge in some Pacific Islander foods, learn about some of the traditions, as well as just connect with people on campus.
But this event wasn't just about having fun or hanging out, or about the free food that's sold out, or about the fun with the animals, or even getting a tattoo, but also about the student election that's coming up.
So both today and tomorrow, voting is going to be happening for the student body election. A lot of what we did today incentivized students to get out there and vote and have their voices heard. And by participating in our event and then participating in the election, hopefully we'll see greater turnout for those election results, but also just to have more people come to the event as well.
Events like this are always happening on the UNLV campus, so don't miss another chance to party by following Rebel Event Boards on Instagram at REBUNLV.
Trina, thank you for that story. And indeed, it's not every day that you see the campus turn into a petting zoo with a camel, some chickens, and goats. It was on everyone's social media yesterday afternoon. But moving on, a new squad of firefighters are graduating this afternoon in a ceremony at Las Vegas City Hall. That ceremony taking place at 2 p.m. this afternoon. These recruits, they went through all of the rigorous fundamentals to get to this proud moment in their lives. And upon graduation, these new firefighters will be beginning their career of public service next week when they begin reporting to one of the city's fire stations throughout the Las Vegas Valley. And that ceremony can be watched via live stream, and you can also watch a ceremony on KCLV Channel 2 tomorrow at 6. And this month of April is also National Autism Awareness Month. This raises awareness for autism and Asperger's syndrome. And autism, it's a complex brain disorder that often inhibits a person's ability to communicate, respond to surroundings, and form relationships. And the pictures you saw on your screen there, the Clark County Commissioners and the Grant a Gift of Autism Foundation were near the Welcome to Las Vegas sign on the Strip, spreading awareness about autism in blue. And they also changed the perimeter lights on that sign to blue as well. And that foundation is also the only multidisciplinary center in Nevada. They also diagnose, they give therapy, they give social and family programming and vocational training, as well as a whole lot more. And in 2023, the CDC reported that an estimated 1 in 36 children in the United States are diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder. And an alumni of UNLV has created a way for people to connect with their loved ones in the event of their passing. Studio G reporter Ethan Sachs brings us that story.
Zachary Green, a UNLV and journalism alumni, has created a company dedicated to recording the life stories of people who wish to share their lives with the ones that they love.
I am the founder and CEO of My Life Recordings, which is a memory preservation company. And I graduated from UNLV in 2018 with a degree in journalism. So My Life Recordings is a memory preservation company, and the best way I like to explain what we do is we travel to people's homes and we set up a podcasting studio. We typically pre-interview them, and we're charting a course to preserve their oral histories. So we gather all this information that is kind of like, okay, did you go to school? Do you have children? Did you have grandchildren? Were you in the military? Just kind of charting the path of their life, then developing a special line of questioning so that way we can go in depth and deeper access those memories and their stories so their loved ones have it preserved forever. And we give their loved ones back these beautiful stories of their life so that way they're never lost in the event that that loved one passes away or something happens to them. I created My Life Recordings out of loss. I had lost my mom's mom when I was a freshman in college, and I realized that I had nothing from her. She died spontaneously, and I was looking through voicemails, I was looking through just anything to try and find some aspect of her life or of her voice, and I didn't have anything. So I realized in a day and age where it's so easy to capture someone's story, why aren't we doing it for our loved ones? I knew that I needed to find a unique way to interview people and talk to people. Thinking about that, I thought, man, there's a lot of people who have Alzheimer's and dementia. So I started working with doctors from the Lou Reveau Center for Brain Health so that way I could learn how to interview and better engage those who have Alzheimer's and dementia to get the best stories out of them for their loved ones. I think the best thing that I would tell anyone who wants to preserve a story for their loved one or wants to even sit down and interview someone, you don't need to wait for someone like myself to do it. You should just start and do it. I like to frame it as if you're playing a video game, this is the point where you pause it and you press save on their life. And you have everything cataloged and saved up into that point. And from doing that, you know, if something happens, at least you have that whole timeline of their life and their story.
You can learn more through their website, myliferecordings.com, or call 702-900-3608 for more information.
Ethan, thank you so much for that touching story. And as technology advances, I'm sure many people are going to be engaging in that recording, as well as the people in the past. I bet they wish that they have recordings of their past loved ones nowadays. Moving on into a bit of weather, Miami and Fort Lauderdale, they're seeing historic flooding this week. Meteorologists at the National Weather Service calling this storm that just hit South Florida a once-in-a-millennia rainstorm. The storm dumped 14 to 20 inches of rain in less than 24 hours, and other gauges in the area have read an even larger total. On top of all of that, a tornado warning was issued in the area this morning that also added to the weather issues, ultimately forcing the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport to close down their doors, canceling hundreds of flights. That airport will reopen Friday morning. Now we're going to stay outside, except we're going to go a bit more local. We're going to take a look at the weather here today. We're going to take a look first up at our current temperatures outside. We're going to take those pictures up for you right now. 71 degrees outside, wind speed about 12 miles an hour. So a pretty beautiful day out here today. And then we're going to move on now to our next little bullet point. We're going to have the evening planner, 3 p.m. seeing 77 degrees, 6 p.m. around sunset, 75, 9 p.m. tonight, 69, and at midnight, 12 hours from now, 63 degrees. It's going to be a very fair weather evening tonight. Moving on nationwide. Now we have warmer weather coming out here in the country in the Midwest. We have all those highlighted areas in pink. Those are hotter temperatures as the summer months grow nearer. And now we're going to move back there now. We're at the tan, red flag warnings in the Northeast. So those are going to be those warnings that make it more likely for fires to happen. And you see also down closer to South Florida, you see some rain warnings out there. Now we're going to move on to our 7-day forecast. Friday, a beautiful 76 degrees, a low of 52. Saturday, 80 degrees with a low of 56. Sunday is going to be our hottest day in this next week. 86 degrees is our high, as well as our hottest low temperature of 61. And then Monday is going to be a hot start to the week as well. 84 degrees is your high, and we'll see 76 Tuesday and Wednesday. And we're going to move on to more good news. The Biden administration is hoping to cut down pollution by suggesting a new emission law that would take a lot of gasoline-powered cars off of the road in the near future. To adhere to this new pollution limit by 2033, a number of new cars sold would have to be electric, that according to the Associated Press, and this is the strictest push of emission limits by any administration. Biden's goal is to cut down warming greenhouse gases by half by the year 2030, with less than 10% of new cars being sold are being electric as of right now. This would be a huge change, and there are many skeptics in the auto industry on this idea. This announced yesterday, but Studio G will follow along and provide updates in the coming weeks. And in sports, it's a big night for the Vegas Golden Knights. The VGK are up in Seattle to end the regular season against the Seattle Kraken off of a win Tuesday night. You're seeing some pictures from that win there on your screen. Vegas has a chance to clinch the Western Conference title and the Pacific Division if they win tonight. But if they lose and the Edmonton Oilers take down the San Jose Sharks on the road, the Oilers would own the tiebreaker and would win the conference and the division.
A little more at stake, obviously. First place, Western Conference, those things are accomplishments, I guess, so to speak. I mean, you have an end goal in mind that trumps everything, but I still think it's important. I think our players will feel that way, and they also know that we could play Seattle next week, right? There's still a possibility. They're in the mix, so this one probably carries a little more weight than maybe one that's a month ago or 3 weeks ago.
champion Las Vegas Aces took part in the WNBA draft this week, and they have their newest player. They took Brittany Davis out of Alabama with the 36th overall pick in that draft. Aces general manager Natalie Williams had high praise for the guard during his Zoom press conference on Wednesday. Take a listen.
Especially myself and some of the assistant coaches, to watch Brittany throughout the college season, and just very impressed with everything that she did, not only on the offensive side of the court, shooting. I think she was 4th in the SEC in scoring, but also rebounding, and an excellent defender, which is very hard to do in the SEC. So just really proud of her and the way she was able to lead her team and be productive and help them throughout the season and in the NCAA tournament.
Lady Rebel turning her sights to the WNBA just a few hundred miles east. Essence Booker, a standout guard for UNLV and a Las Vegas product, has signed a training camp deal with the Phoenix Mercury. Booker hopes to be the first Lady Rebel to suit up in a WNBA game since Sequoia Holmes in 2018, who played 3 games with no other team but the Las Vegas Aces, and as well joining Sam Thomas, a sibling to our very own Jade Thomas, and being a Las Vegas product to play for the Mercury. We'll see how that turns out when training camp starts up later on in May. And before we let you go, up north in Boston, final preps for the Boston Marathon is underway. Going to show you pictures of the finish line for the marathon as it's completed. The iconic stripe was laid down on Boylston Street today in prep for Monday's event. Crews also started building network structures and setting up technology to host the event. It's sure to be a fun one on Monday. Thank you all for joining us this week on Studio G. We'll see you back here next week. Have a good weekend.